If you're like me, you've often wondered why a famous actor who does a stage play doesn't perform it as well as an unknown in the same play. Or why a certain football team with world-class players on it can't win the championship compared to another team that has lesser skill or lesser experience. The secret behind having high-performance teams is based on the old adage that the sum of the individual skills of a team is not as large, as great, as powerful as their collective ability. So something happens when that group, whether it's the entertainers on stage, the footballers on the pitch, something happens when a group of people come together as a highly functioning team. When that happens, magic happens. In business, the thought leader in what it takes for a team to function is a man named Patrick Lencioni, whose first work was The 5 Dysfunctions of Team. Now you may say, Barry, as a coach, why are you telling me where I should go to get this information, because then I don't need you? Well, change, some people talk about another module, sometimes takes more than a textbook or a workbook, but it is a great first step nonetheless. For a team to really work well together has to be trust, the most fundamental element of a functional team. Once there's trust, you can now collaborate. What do I mean by collaborate? Well, if there are 3 of us and we're writing code for a certain software program, and I say, you know, I'm the front end, the interface person, you're the logic person, the AI person, and this person does whatever else those crazy engineers do to make wonderful software we use. We all go off to our corners, and we agree that, just like a 3-legged chair, that we're going to come together at a certain point in time, and we're going to bring the things that we're good at doing together, and we're going to fit them together. Sounds easy, but if you look at that 3-legged chair, if my leg's too long and another leg's too short, it's not going to be stable. And so in that way, if we had collaborated up front, if we had taken the overall design idea and then from our 3 unique perspectives discuss how we thought within our responsibility we could work on this, that collaboration meant that not only would we come back together and teamwork and clamp it all together, but we do our individual jobs with that trust from whence we start our relationship. So when we leave that collaborating environment, we're not only trusting each other, but now we have to be accountable. We have to be accountable to ourselves and to each other. We're actually going to do what we say we're going to do. We're not going to revert back to, well, I'm not going to tell them, I'm going to do it my way. Now, we got to be true. We got to be accountable. So trust and accountability becomes incredibly valuable. Peer to peer. Not the formal accountability, but in collaborative teams, we have to be accountable to each other. Not just to do what we say we're going to do, but again, to be transparent when we fail, when we hit a wall, when it's not working. Can you imagine going into somebody's office and saying, you know, I know you scheduled 3 hours of time for me today, but I just don't feel like I'm ready for it. Would you want to just be allowed to walk out that door? You certainly wouldn't want to be yelled at, but wouldn't you want a teammate they would encourage you and collaborate with? Say, well, you know, let's just take one at a time. And while we work on this a little bit, I think we can do this together. That type of accountability is such an important part of collaboration. So conflict is when we disagree. It's when our collaboration's not working very well. And if we take that conflict and we wrap it up and we hide it back here behind the chair or under the rug and hope nobody notices, guess what? They're going to notice. I want you to think about a movie you may have seen in which there are soldiers in some environment, could be a jungle, could be a desert, could be wherever. And all of a sudden you hear a clicking sound. And there's that one soldier standing in the middle of this open area, and somebody comes over and they take a stick and they clean off this area underneath the foot, and it's a landmine. Well, there aren't very many options. That's conflict. You got to deal with it. So if they somehow get that one piece of conflict, get that one soldier off of that mine without it exploding, well, then what do? You say, oh, I had to take care of that one, so now I'm not going to worry about it anymore. Do you say, landmines typically come in groups, just like conflict always comes in groups or within the entire group. So if you're smart, you don't wait for somebody to step on the next landmine. You take out your stick or whatever metal detecting device you may have, and you start clearing the field. You surgically, with a detailed process, step by step, look for a path in which landmines don't exist, but you can't do that until what? You first know where the landmines are. Conflicts are your landmines for your teams. You don't go after them, you don't deal with them, you don't expose them, and you don't disengage them from the team. You will not have a functional team. You'll go boom. Let's talk about trust. Talk about accountability. Talked about conflict. Commitment to success. It sounds simple. The commitment to seeing something through, the grit, the based on trust, based upon not letting conflict get in your way, based upon accountability. Now, are we going to get this job done? Whatever that is we're collaborating on, whatever our team's goals are. And let's face it, there are times, almost all the time, your team's goals will be a subset of your company's goals. But they could also be a superset of your company's goals. They could be something that you want to do from a personal development standpoint as a team. Might be doing something with a local nonprofit organization. It might be going out and climbing rocks or riding dune buggies. It could be anything. But there's something more than just what you're tasked with that you want to accomplish as a team. So you've established trust. You mind conflict so it doesn't get in the way. You're accountable to each other. Now you have to ask yourself, I'm really going to be committed to this. Because the end of this whole process, number 5, is to have good results, to get the outcomes you start with. And are you committed? Can you be committed? Does every member of your team have enough time in their life to commit? Highly functional teams don't always have to have equality. Trust, yes. Accountability, yes. Minding conflict, yes. Commitment, absolutely. And sometimes for a certain project, one or more of your team members will not be as committed as others. That commitment isn't in their heart or their gut or their head. Sometimes it's just the time they have to dedicate to it. And guess what? In the life of you leading your team, you're going to have many of these opportunities for the equity or the balance of commitment to be shared amongst different team members. So again, don't let that get in the way. Don't judge people because they don't have the time. Talk to them. You get those first 4 out of the way, committed to success. Whatever that definition is, whatever that vision is you've set forth as that leader, nothing, absolutely nothing will get in the way of this highly collaborative, functional team with trust and character and commitment. There's nothing that can stand in your way.